So this guy who's worth over $2.5 billion gave the best advice that I'd ever heard in business before. It literally shaped what I do in my business today, and I'm going to give it to you right now. So the multi-billionaire's name is Paul Graham, and he wrote a post called Do Things That Don't Scale, and he talks all about how Airbnb got started. And it's going to sound strange because it's way different than you think, but it's going to change the way you look at money. Okay, so flashback to the beginning of Airbnb. If you don't know what it is, I'm going to give it to you in a nutshell. I'm going to talk really fast. Airbnb started because these people had an extra room in their house and they had an air bed, hence Airbnb, and they decided to rent it out when there was a concert in their town because there's a whole bunch of people looking for accommodation, but there were no hotels available. So they rented their air bed out in their extra room for a couple bucks. Then they started thinking, I wonder if other people have rooms that they would want to rent out and charge for it. Keep in mind, before Airbnb is what it is today, it was preposterous to think that someone would rent out a room in their house to a total stranger who they'd never met before and charge them like $40 or $80 or whatever it was for it. So preposterous that the founders of Airbnb would go door to door in apartment buildings in New York City asking people, hey, do you have extra room that you would want to rent out on this like site that we're starting? Most people were just like, no, you're nuts, get out of here. But a few people said that they would, and the founders themselves would go in and take pictures of the room, then go back and load it onto their site, which is literally the definition and the reason why the post is called Do Things That Don't Scale. It's not scalable for the founders of a business to go and take pictures of every single apartment, but it's needed to get the business off the ground. Paul says that in the beginning of any company, the founders are going to need to do things that don't eventually scale. And that most founders actually try to focus on things that only will scale, which actually screws them up. If this is landing for you, just put don't scale in the comments right now. Just put don't scale, the words don't scale in the comments so you remember to focus at the beginning on things that don't scale. So I apply this to the business that I have right now that helps people land TEDx talks. In the beginning, I would take every phone call with every single client. I'd help them come up with their idea, their title, all the things. I would talk to TEDx organizers and see if I could get the person booked. And we booked tons of people at TEDx talks. Now it's completely scalable because those things that I did that wouldn't scale have been refined, and I've replaced myself with a team that's better at all those things than I am. And it is now scaled to 700 people landing TEDx talks all over the world from one company, from me doing stuff that didn't scale because I read a Paul Graham post. To switch out of process-based thinking into outcome-based thinking, like I talk about in a lot of my videos, we got to do things at the beginning that don't scale. So for now, hit the follow button so that we can do some things that don't scale together and make 2025 the biggest year of our lives. Hit the follow button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.